Okay, can attention affect on non-conscious processing in healthy subjects? So following up the last video, we are going to ask about can attention affect on non-conscious processing? And as I said, a large amount of the study says yes. Okay, and now we are going to look at the evidence in the healthy subjects. So one of the study we are going to focus on is this study by Loskirch. And here what they did was a visual search of an object that the target of the search drawn by here. It's an oriented GABA patch tilted to the right here. And then this was presented to the non-dominant eye. Let's say, if your dominant eye is right eye, then this is going to be the left eye. Okay. And on the right eye, dominant eye, what they presented was a continuous thrust suppression. So CFS, okay, which I reported in 2005. And they presented this kind of random colored pattern for the field. And then so that, they don't, this is pretty much what they see. It's a flash of, color random patterns every 100 milliseconds. And they are, this is your phenomenology, basically. Okay, and then after 1 second of the presentation, then there is a 0.2 seconds of the follow-up, stimulation, so that there will be no after image of the GABA patch itself. Okay, so that's what it looks like in each trial. And then they are asked to basically try to say the three things. Okay, here. One is that where was the pattern? So it's a trying and searching for the location of this GABA patch. And it could be located in here or here or here or there. It's one of the 4 locations. So this is a visual search experiment. And then how sure are you? So they also ask about the confidence, metacognition. Okay, and then which spatial orientation, meaning that it was the GABA patch tilted to the right or left. So this is to make sure whether there was any kind of hint of the visibility of the stimulus, right? Then what they did, and this is all done while the subject's eye movements were monitored very carefully. That's quite an important point. So what happened about first, phenomenology. In terms of phenomenology, what they found was that analyze only trials in which participants are very unsure regarding the stimulus location. Okay, and then both location and orientation discrimination in terms of this, verbal report or button press was at chance level. Okay, so the spatial orientation was either left or right, and so spatial location of the stimulus was one of the 2 locations. So there was no sort of the hint of conscious discrimination, and also the subject said that they didn't see it, and they discarded the trials where they had some kind of hint of the seeing, really briefly. Okay. Then what happened was that during this period where subjects were looking for the stimulus, okay, when they analyzed the actual eye movement patterns, then it turned out that roughly 11% of the time, eyes moved into this area that stimulus may be presented, and then the other side here, where the stimulus is actually presented, eye actually moved into here in 15% of the time. So it's a really small thing. It's like only 4% of the time. Okay, and if it's really large, then that's highly unlikely that this is all non-conscious. But this 4% difference is highly reliable, p-value of 0.0045. Okay, so this means that the healthy subjects, healthy participants also looked at the target locations more. But here it was quite implicit, because subjects didn't see the stimulus, right? And also they couldn't actually report also the location of target, and they couldn't also, discriminate the orientation of the stimulus. So this is another demonstration of the attention without consciousness. If you include this, a spontaneous eye movement as a evidence of the attentional processing. So in summary, subjects tried to search for an invisible target under the CFS. And then important thing is that the eye movements were monitored, okay? And then what they found was that in trials where subjects denied seeing the stimulus, conscious reports was still a chance. And also localization, in terms of the localization of orientation. But there was a residual behaviors like blind sight. Eyes knew whether stimulus is, but only briefly, and also really 4% difference. So, but again, this also makes sense if this superior colliculus and the Paulinar kind of pathway is also operating in us, who is not the blind side, independently biasing these eye movements based on the attentional mechanism of our, inside our brain, which is not really relevant for consciousness. And this superior colliculus pathway, maybe, nobody knows right now, is responsible for this, residual attention during this CFS, continuous flash suppression. Okay, so the evidence-wise, overt spatial attention, meaning eye movement itself, were guided towards the target. Okay, so then the final question is that can we find a neural correlates of attention without consciousness in this case? And that's what we're going to take a look next.